Second, interim payments. Well, as you know, on the 15th of July, I invited submissions from core participants and government bodies on whether I should exercise my powers to make a recommendation about interim payments. The inquiry received 15 submissions on this matter, all of which urged me to recommend that an interim payment should be made. In addition to those formal submissions, the inquiry received several hundred emails from individuals, which indicates the strength of feeling among inquiry participants. Having considered the submissions, as well as the evidence and report by Sir Robert Francis QC, I have today, in line with the requirements of the Inquiries Act, sent my report on interim payments to the Minister. I have disclosed it to core participants. In advance of my sending the report to him, he gave me the permission to publish it, and I should say that it's a requirement under the Act that I have the Minister's permission to publish, and he gave it to me. I have decided that my report, exactly as delivered to the Minister, will be published on the inquiry's website once these proceedings have concluded today. It is a report about interim payments only. As you read it, please bear in mind that the full scale of the evidence heard and read by the inquiry and the results of its investigative work can only be recognised in my final report. Please also remember I have no power to order interim payments. My sole power is to make a recommendation. It doesn't have to be accepted by government, nor does it have to be accepted in full. I set out to answer two questions. First, whether I should exercise my powers to make a recommendation that interim payments should be made. And second, I should say, I recommended that they should. The second issue concerned the scope of those payments, and this is more complex. Sir Robert Francis QC recommended interim payments because the payment of full compensation could not be delivered quickly. He made a compelling case that interim payments are needed now to alleviate suffering and further suffering, and I agree with him. And I'm obliged to recognise that the practical way to make payments swiftly is to do so through the current infected blood support schemes. And that's why I've decided to recommend that interim payments of no less than £100,000 are made to all the infected people and all the bereaved partners who are currently registered with the schemes, and those who register between now and the inception of any future scheme. I know that that will be disappointing to some of you who may fall into neither category, and I apologise for that. I ask those who are disappointed to remember that this is not the end of the inquiry's work, and the question of compensation and its scope is not resolved in this short report on interim payments. I repeat, the interim report concerns only whether I should recommend interim payments. Finally, let me say this. I know that many of you follow the inquiry's work closely, but I'm conscious that being a participant in an inquiry can bring with it an emotional burden. The inquiry team will continue working away, preparing for the next hearings, but until we meet again in September, I wish you a peaceful and restorative break. Thank you.